Sora.
Kairi! I found you!
You see? I had no doubts that you'd pull through.
The light in the darkness. It was you! You're the one who kept me from fading away!
All I did was believe that you wouldn't.
I feel strong with you, Kairi.
The others are ahead. Come on. I told you, Sora. You're safe with me.
Oh. Yeah! Whoa! Oh.
You okay?
Yeah. Thanks, Kairi. Oh. It did work!
Of course! Now point us back at those guys.
Right!
Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, welcome back to Kingdom Hearts 3, and that earlier scene with Kairi was precisely why I complained about that outfit of hers, part of which is because it makes her look, a lot younger than her Kingdom Hearts 2 self, and another part of which is because it's very easy to get some panty shots that was actually a bit of a problem in Kingdom Hearts 2, where some rather naughty players caught a panty upskirt shot of Kairi around about the point in, Xemnas' tower, so yeah. Should have thought about that, developers, but it's a good thing she has some big-ass boots. But in any case, so to kind of get to brass tacks, apart from Sora and Kairi going tee-hee, huddle-ha, we're in love, but he's secretly dreaming about Riku. Now was pretty much time where we complete the third quadrant's Gummy Ship Super Bosses, which, as you can tell right here, is basically the same bosses we fought before, but they're Pretty and the Pank. So yeah, this is the Monsters Inc. boss fight we fought before, but now with more health bars. And you'll find that being a similar pattern as we also fight the Toy Story boss fight, now with more health bars. And Pretty and the Pank. And you're gonna find that the Omega Machine is also rather familiar, but we'll save that for when we get to it. Don't want to run out of commentary too fast. But yeah, needless to say, all of this is pretty much in service of getting the Ultima weapon, which we achieve in this very video. At last, all my work will finally come to fruition, and don't worry, you will be seeing it in the final boss fight, because I don't know if I brought it up before, or perhaps later, but yeah, I think I did actually bring it up in the last video, but yeah, I finally finished the main story of Kingdom Hearts 3, so don't worry, you will be getting to see the Ultima weapon, and again, for the sake of the Remind DLC, I will be showing the Ultima weapon some love. After all, I did work my ass off to get it, so best to enjoy it now. But yeah, all things aside though, I mean, these are pretty much the Gummy Ship bosses that you need to fight in order to get the Orichalcum Plus that, contributes to the Ultima weapon. You don't need to fight the Crawlers, you don't need to fight Schwarzgeist or anything, so yeah, what happens by defeating these bosses is that you pretty much, well, power your way towards the final Gummy Ship boss, the Omega Machine. So yeah, that's pretty much all she wrote. It's basically 2 repeated bosses and 2 enemy rushes, so yeah, that's pretty much all she wrote in this case. We're pretty much going to be cutting around straight to our next enemy rush. In terms of this quadrant of space, actually, I mean, apart from being very brown and asteroid heavy, which Kind of reminds me of Leads from Freelancer, actually. The lead system. See, look, there's Freelancer Alpha 1-1 getting his cargo scanned. Still on the run from Rhineland and the Liberty Navy. God bless you, Trent. But yeah, I mean, all that aside though, well, there is still the whole matter of, you know, these bosses being repeated, which... I mean, it's kind of shitty that they couldn't have maybe had, like, some Final Fantasy-themed bosses, maybe. I mean, again, I don't expect anything to sort of reach the level of Schwarzgeist in terms of, you know, paying homage to Square Enix franchises gone by, but, I don't know, like, maybe some Gummy Ship bosses maybe themed after, like, some of the Heartless enemies, or... I don't know, I mean, again, you're concluding the Xehanort saga, so maybe some Xehanort-themed, Gummy Ship bosses, like... You have one that sort of resembles the Nobody Dragon monster that Xemnas rode in Kingdom Hearts 2. Or maybe one based on, you know, the battleship at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1. You know, the organic flesh battleship that Ansem had tied to his body. I don't know, I mean, that could have been pretty nice. And hell, you could have even had some maybe based on, like, young Xehanort, perhaps, as the no-heart armor or anything. I don't know, I mean, it would have been interesting. But anyway, though, that's... pretty much all she wrote. So the next two are pretty much going to be enemy rushes, one of which I'm going to sort of let play out because I don't think we've technically fought something like that before, but yeah, you do need to pretty much skirt your way around all four corners of this little metallic death trap thingamajig. And by the time you're pretty much done with that, yeah, pretty much make your way to the top and the Omega Machine will be waiting for you. And I can't tell whether or not the Omega Machine itself is meant to be a Final Fantasy reference to the Omega Weapon, which, I want to say debuted in... Was it Final Fantasy V or was Final Fantasy III? I'm gonna say 5, because I might be mistaking it for Gilgamesh. Oh, was it Final Fantasy III? I can't quite remember. Either way, I know it was a super boss in one of them. But, yeah, it's neither here nor there in this case. I mean, again, I'm gonna fathom a guess that it probably isn't, given the fact that, you know, the Omega Machine resembles a boss we've already fought before, but... kind of odd, really. It's, kind of curious, actually. I'm surprised we didn't have any other, like, Final Fantasy referenced bosses in terms of, Gummy Ship, things like, Shinryu or whatever, like, weird. Like, oh, all these characters are meant to be the same incarnation across multiple Final Fantasy games, thingamadoodles. I don't know. Whatever fucking Dissidia-esque logic that Final Fantasy likes to paint itself with these days, or at least in regards to, like, some of the earlier incarnations. You know, read Stranger in Paradise, or, like, Dissidia with, like, how Cosmos Chaos, the Emperor from Final Fantasy II, does a fuck about in Kefka or whatever, some shit. I don't really know. It makes it sound more convoluted than Kingdom Hearts, really. But yeah, in any case, this is, you know, your enemy Zergrush Shugamidu. And this one basically involving robotic bees. Oh dear god. Bees, my god. But in any case, so it's pretty much the same sort of Gummy Ship things that you were doing before. In terms of this Quadrant of Space, though, I mean, you do get some of the same sort of, you know, aspects. Again, you do have treasure vaults to unlock, you have, you know, asteroid fields which you can mine for materials. And, yeah, this is pretty much your main place in order to collect some of the stuff like Adamantite and, you know, Damascus and stuff like that. So, again, this is pretty much your hotspot for getting stuff to upgrade a majority of your Keyblades. It's just that, yeah, there's not really much out here besides that. I mean, again, there are still constellations that you can get for your Final Fantasy references, but that's really about it. Incidentally, I'm not really one to think about, like, Gummy Ship designs or anything, but one design that I felt like would have been cool in terms of having a ship design in terms of Gummy Ships and whatever, would have been the Ragnarok from Final Fantasy VIII. Your airship/spaceship that you get, somewhat late in the game, but at the same time is also a really cool-looking spaceship, and by far my favorite airship in the Final Fantasy series. I mean, provided that you don't count Blam Gardens, which is sort of your home base and has tertiary propulsion systems. I don't know, it's odd, but again, I mean, you do get the traditional Final Fantasy airship in the stylings of Radiant Garden, I guess, but I don't know. Ragnarok, yeah, it has my heart. I don't know, either Ragnarok, you know, Sid and Mid's airship from Final Fantasy V, or potentially Setz's airship, just purely for how much you get to explore inside and just how stylized it is to Setz's liking. And he is in Kingdom Hearts, mind you, so, you know, we know where we can always have his airship, and Nomura wouldn't have a fucking problem with it. In fact, while we're on the Final Fantasy topic as I talk about it, yeah, you want to know what other Final Fantasy VI character that Tetsuya Nomura designed and would be completely okay to use in Kingdom Hearts? Shadow. That is to say, the ninja Shadow that occasionally joins your party in 6. I'm surprised he never found a way to include him in any of these games, and again, unless of course Kingdom Hearts 4 finds some way to include him. I don't know, I'd quite like to see Shadow, it would be pretty cool, in my personal opinion. Then again, I think it would be cool to see any Final Fantasy character sort of show up at this rate, but don't worry, the Remind DLC will be our panacea. Somewhat. As a bit of a belated apology, really, but, yes, we'll get to that when we get to that. By which I mean when I record it. Yes, one more to go. Blast off, and yes, as you can tell, I am also using the SS Fruta Lover as our most powerful ship at present, so, yeah, I mean, it hasn't let me down. I do wonder whether or not I should have potentially used a Schwarzgeist, maybe? I mean, I did technically unlock it, but I didn't show off it or Endymion as one of the ships you can pilot, so, whoop-de-doodle. But in any case, here's our last enemy rush, and after that, we'll pretty much be taking on the Omega Machine. I mean, I guess they potentially could have done... Well, oh, that was a bit of a quick wrap-up, but... Yeah, it's pretty much the same sort of enemy wrap-up. You knew what you were getting into, and, Aqueist. Anyway, as for what I was going to reference, once again for Final Fantasy-inspired, you know, gummy ship models, would have actually been the super boss from Final Fantasy 1, Warmech, that you actually fired up on the satellite temple. I say satellite temple because I believe it was actually meant to be a space-based satellite temple, but localization, you know, to kind of keep Final Fantasy, well, fantasy, localized it as like a sky temple. I don't know, weird localization issues. Again, there's like a lot of weird shit that you find with a lot of ancient RPGs, like, again, I mean, my absolute favorites will always be the Ultima 1-3 trilogy, you know, where you have swords and sorcery fantasy, you know, about as western as you could fucking get, and then all of a sudden you're flying around in space using spaceships and TIE fighters and all sorts of fucking wacky shits and traveling through time and... God, man, early RPGs are a fucking sight to behold, really. But yeah, this is the Omega Machine. It's the boss we fought in order to get to the Keyblade Graveyard, but Pretty and the Pank. So yeah, I'm pretty much going to be skimming over a lot of its phases, pretty much taking down one little health bar, and then moving on to the next segment. There are technically, you know, 2 other phases that you do get against the Omega Machine. The first of which actually being against, you know, the little top half of the bridge control center, you know, controlling it. And then also with the midsection that eventually opens up and basically showers you with a parade of laser beams galore, so... Yeah, I mean, it does technically have 2 new phases, but by that same token, though, it's just sort of an extension that doesn't really escalate the difficulty gradually either. And I guess maybe depending on how you build your gummy ship, you could potentially have more fun mowing the floor with it, or, you know, taking it down, really, but... Yeah, I don't know, like, I mean, again, this might just sort of be me just sort of peppering it with bullets and missiles and whatever, but... Yeah, there's not really enough mechanical depth here for me to really feel... you know, enjoyment out of this. Again, I suppose potentially Freelancer may have spoiled me with, you know, countermeasures and, you know, shield abilities, missiles, torpedo launchers, mines, whatever else, but... Yeah, I mean, as far as simplicity goes, it's okay, it's just that when you have, like, 500 fucking health bars, it's really... To me, it's either a test in patience, or it's a test in, like, you're gonna get mopped in, like, you know, 2 seconds flat because, you know, you have a severely outclassed ship and you either need to... I don't know, get better blueprints, know how to grind for proper materials, or just do whatever, really. Which I suppose sort of explains why I never really got much into the shoot-'em-up genre, and why the, well, main story boss of Sonic Frontiers in its 2nd phase was a little bit shit. But I stay my tongue on that, for the final review of Skully Reviews that will die. Blah, 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 blah. But yeah, this is pretty much the bridge control center that we have to take down, as it shoots out laser beams that, admittedly, are quite damaging. I mean, they're slow-moving projectiles, but, you know, don't be fooled, if you get pipped by one, it does a pretty significant amount of damage, so, watch your step. Balboa Station, watch your step. Yes, you see, the It's 2025 and I'm still referencing The Matrix Path of Neo. A game that I covered in 2015 and a game that I've been playing since 2005. See? The 20th anniversary of The Matrix Path of Neo. Maybe I should do a Redux commentary on that someday. Who knows? What am I doing right now? I'm panning out for time as we continue to shoot this fucking head. Gerblamo, gerblamo, gerblamo. Alert, alert. There we go, it's finally destroyed, but it's not over yet! Because, yeah, this pretty much leads us to our 6th piece of Orichalcum Plus, but there is technically a 7th that you can only get once you've accessed the final world, so... yeah, you can technically get to the Ultima weapon, you know, before the endgame and, you know, technically have a chance to use it compared to something like, Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, where you can only really use it against Ansem Secret of Darkness and I guess, the super bosses, if you're so inclined, but, yeah, apart from anything else though, it's pretty much the horse she rode in on. But in any case though, yeah, this is all the gummy ship crap, something I'm probably never gonna end up doing ever again on future playthroughs of Kingdom Hearts 3, but, you know what, whatever, for the sake of sharing it with you and, you know, showing Kingdom Hearts 3 some love, probably a lot more than a lot of people think the game deserves, well, here it is. You know, don't let it be said that I'm not fair to, you know, the games that I play. Victory. But anyway, now that we're done there, we pretty much make our return to the final world, which once again re-establishes its link with Dream Drop Distance by it being a sort of dream realm, and gets downright fucking bizarre a Melody of Memory, where, to kind of coin a bit of a spoiler here, yeah, the fairy godmother, you know, that whimsical, charming young lady that, well, young lady? Old lady that gives Cinderella her dress and dreams and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, basically she also has access to the realm of the dead. Because, why the fuck not? It's also, yeah. It's basically going to be an explanation as to why Riku, does a little something secret in the secret movie of Kingdom Hearts 3. So, yeah. In any case, our last piece of Orichalcum Plus, and at last, we can begin. We've achieved it, yes Sora, jump up and block. Victory is ours, dude. And off-ski we go. At last, it is done. Mr. Moogle, could you spare us a hat? And some change? Yes, it is time now. Come on. The Ultima weapon. Yes. Victory. The Ultima weapon. Now don't worry, dudes and dudettes, you will be seeing this as we get back to the story. But that won't be for the time being. For you see, before we get to use the Ultima weapon, there is but one last thing that we have yet to do. And on that note, I am Solidus-Skully, and next time on Kingdom Hearts 3, one last thing to get out of the way. Bye-bye.